So I was seeing a bunch of videos. There's so many talking about this Twitch guy, like so many. And then this last one I saw was like trying to talk to all the depressed people because it's just, it can be so hidden. It's like, oh my God. There's a lot of people though who are questioning the narrative for sure. A lot of people seeing through it. And then I think some other person just died right after that. But one thing in the news stuff I've been seeing, a lot of from all different countries, all sorts of people are being arrested. So arrests are going and going. And then I saw, I could never find Trump talking yesterday. I had seen one person who was super disappointed because he was talking about NFTs on Truth Social in the morning, and they were like, "Oh my God, is this going to be what his announcement?" Because everybody, is waiting for something big. Like there's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of people waiting for him to save them, and so something with the NFTs, and then I've seen people talking about that and the cryptocurrency while all this is going on, and do not get involved in that. It's more with the control and stuff. Like I don't know all of these different things. I know it's going to go back to the gold standard, but people can develop their own ways of commerce and currency, with NFTs or whatever. There's going to be more open to people. It's not going to be so controlled. So I don't know. I know we're going to be going into more. So anyways, I don't know about all that stuff. I bought silver. I didn't go buy any cryptocurrency. So then I guess last night he had his announcement, because then I saw somebody else this morning just totally outraged. They were so like, couldn't even believe it, because they were they were more like me, like had the list. So, we're going to talk about any of this stuff that's real. And he didn't talk about any of that stuff. It was just absurd. And she was saying the same thing. Okay, so none of us will be alive by 2024, but that's what they'll keep holding up. Like, there's our change right there, 2024, just hold on. It's like, well, we'd all be dead. So, but it's a save yourself situation. And I think that is part of the outrage of why it's playing out that way. He can't come in as the savior. You can't save somebody else. Everybody has to be pushed into the desire to save themselves. So anybody who is holding on, this person has to save me or that person has to save me, it won't work, because everybody has to save themselves. You have to get yourself to a point of, and the weird thing is too, is because you don't really know the point. You don't know what the end game is, the goal. You're just, once you start going on the path towards enlightenment, towards your best self, you don't know what is going to be coming on your path. Just like in the Wizard of Oz. I think the Wizard of Oz had so much more. It was showing. I've seen where people were showing how it's the not having a heart, the straw man, the whole breakdown. But no matter what, on your path towards seeking yourself, you will meet people along the way. And some are to teach you a lesson, and some are to help you along your path. So essentially, it's kind of like you have people who are, going to throw nails down in your path as you're walking, and then you're going to have somebody else up ahead who's handing you a bottle of water. So it is, it's how it goes, and it's you are the one who has to navigate the path. In every challenge, it's how you participate, how you come across the obstacles that you have to overcome. So everything in life is like following this path. And, when you are feeling really shitty about yourself, like me when I was younger, and the beginning of my path was all people who were going to push further, because everybody has to have a bottom. So you get pushed further. When people are trying to teach you to love yourself, you're going to get pushed more by their behavior of how they disrespect you or something. So you're constantly pushed into a corner of yourself to find yourself. And, depending on how bad you feel about yourself, how long you will pursue that until the point where all of a sudden everything changes. And, and it all has to do with healing and knowing your own empowerment, your own self-worth. And so, and that is part of the journey. So don't feel bad, if you came into the game and right off the bat, you had all these people who just drowned you with self-doubt and made you feel like shit about yourself, because that is part of the game. That is your soul chose that, wanted to see it itself, how far it could, what things it could overcome, how far could it be pushed, how far could it go down and come up. So all this stuff, I mean, lately, I swear to God, this is weird, and like I don't know how many people would even understand this. But lately, I have said, argue with my higher self and stuff. Not argue like, well, a little bit, like go put the wood on. No, I'm sleeping. Like, so there's a little bit of arguing, but there is a lot of like especially like the last couple days, it is like, they tell you to do something, like it's always being told to do something. And lately it's like, I feel like I'm going from one enslavement of a system into another one. like I'm your slave. Like your higher self has put you in this game, it's put themselves in the game, but they're not the one feeling all, well, the avatar, the self is feeling the feelings. They're observing, they're watching. And so, I don't think that they feel all the things we feel. Like I'm constantly telling them what it feels like, like, these challenges are so much worse because of feelings inside that, will bring you down or make it harder or whatever. There's like even excited feelings are hard to get control of. You get overly excited and, all the different things. It's a challenge. So anyways, I don't know, just different things like, do this or do that. And then I was like, oh my God, stop just telling me to do stuff like that. I'm not just your slave. Oh my goodness. Like this is a whole, I swear to God, my game has gone a whole nother level. I don't even know. And I know it sounds so wacky, but I know it's real. So, and one thing too is like, so I see these people like all talking about dating, so many, that one girl who she's always talking about stuff that's really smart. Like I said, she looks like an anime character or something. And one, like right after I had talked about her the other day, like the next video I saw of hers was her talking to her comments where people were like, calling her out on selling her sexiness. Like, you're trying to put yourself off as being smart, then why are you putting this whole thing to just show your boobs? Like, what's that all about? And so she was very defensive when she was answering that. And so, she's always talking about dating and how hard it is to be spiritual and smart, to find a decent person that is your level. But, she's always selling it as like, I mean, there really is a thing. A lot of people don't understand it, but I completely have a new reference of something that I heard a lot as a child. You don't just go out there and show them everything. You don't give them the cow or whatever, all that stuff. It's like a certain energy that we were told back in the day. And then when you see all these girls doing it, and like all of a sudden it makes sense. It's like you're not going to find respect by doing that. Nobody's going to go, oh yeah, I want to go listen to that girl. She's so smart. You're going to go listen because they want to look at your boobs or whatever. It's like, it's bizarre. And so, but she's always talking about the challenges with dating. And so I keep seeing all these other people, and the ones who say, I'm not going to go out and date, that is more like me. But I trust the universe. Like, I understand how the universe works and with manifestation. So I just heard this person and they were talking about manifestation and romance or something. I don't know. Because I got, as soon as he started talking, I was flooded with my own information. So I have to go off of his so I can hear mine. And so to me, the whole thing is like a lot of people, they want to manifest love. A lot of people's relationships are falling apart. Even my daughter yesterday, she's ready to pull the trigger, I guess, because she's like, okay, well, I'm going to tell him that I want to get a divorce. And so, she's going to, take a stand on what she wants, and then you have to deal with the consequences, is the whole thing. No matter what you choose, there's consequences to every choice. There is no wrong or right choice. They're just choices. You're always going to make the choice you make, and they always have repercussions, because that's what you're here to learn and expand and grow from, is the repercussions, the challenges of life. If everything was simple, you would never grow. So, if everything was simple, come back as a squirrel. If you just want a simple life. I love those guys. I swear to God. So I think that the squirrels are like, they don't get enough credit. Like people love monkeys and love other things up in the trees. I love the squirrels. Oh my God, they fascinate me. And I don't know if it is just being around these giant trees and watching these squirrels maneuver these giant trees and acrobatically jump. Like, it is crazy. And when I was in Costa Rica and I watched the monkeys did nothing different than what these squirrels are doing. The squirrels just have these really fluffy tails, and their faces are different. They're smart as shit. They are cute as can be. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. And lately, I started putting so much food outside. Now, I have a whole thing about this. It's kind of trippy, because I started going, I had another dud garden this year. So I was like, oh, motherfucker, nothing is growing. And I know things can grow, because, the natural forest will grow stuff by itself. So I know things will grow. Like, I shouldn't have to do a whole bunch of stuff. And so you just got to find the right thing that grows in your area. So I've been messing with it ever since I moved in. I think it was the first year when I started doing all the work. No, the first year. Yeah, the first year I started, but I don't know. I think I started everything in quarantine. I think the first year I moved, I was busy doing stuff. I don't think I started any of this stuff around here until quarantine. When I was locked down, I had nowhere to go, nothing to do. And just me, my guides, and my dogs. Like, that was it. And so that is when I started doing all this stuff around the house. But I did those raised gardens. And so they're a couple years old. I've gone through a couple seasons and nothing grows. It'll start going and then it just dies. And then somebody told me, well, it's because all the pine needles, it makes the soil super acidic. So, but I know things, you just got to find what grows right. And I know mushrooms grow around here. So, I'll figure it out. But I know I'm not going to be staying here. Like, I know already, like, every single sign around me is showing me that I've outgrown where I'm at, and I'm completely aware of that. So it's just waiting for the next door to open as to where I'm going. But and I gotta have patience and know it's all about timing, and it will open when it's supposed to open. And until then, I'm learning what I'm supposed to be learning. I'm going through the challenges I'm supposed to be going through, and the obstacles to help me to grow myself. And so I had seen something on TikTok. Well, when I went to the Dave's farm, or the farm where he is working, his sister's farm, and his big compost thing, and when he was walking around and showing me and Stella around and stuff, and all the animals and stuff, and all the animals that come for the compost thing. And then I had seen a lot of gardeners during the TikTok during the season talking about what was going on, and a lot of hints and ideas. And somebody had said about just do your compost right in your thing. Just start putting it directly into your garden. So I just started, I'm not wasteful. I have way more waste getting the food bank food, I'll tell you that. Some of the stuff goes real quick. And so I started feeding it back to the earth. So I started going out and putting it in all my garden slots of my raised garden. And so, and I did it all out of pallets. So there's like slots in each thing, And so I went out and I've been putting food in it. And I kept thinking, I bet the neighbors think I'm so weird. But I saw where farmers were saying, put your compost directly into it. So I was like, whatever. They could think I'm weird. They can think I'm drawing bugs in or whatever. But it gets the animals, it's with the bugs and all of that, because the animals go in and dig around in it and get out what they want, and it gets more insects, all of it. That is what gets the soil to be healthy, is all of that stuff happening and occurring. So it makes it more healthy. So when I go out there and to me, it's like I'm doing an offering to the soil, so that the soil will bring me back abundance. And so I was thinking, this is so trippy, because, and this, I don't know if this is one of those things that is from my internal, I'm just listening to my internal, I'm doing it. That's how it feels, that I'm going out and I'm doing something. Like sometimes I feel like I'm a different person. That's another thing I'm always asking, like, am I, like, so many times I just feel like I'm a different person all the time. Like, am I being, am I just some sort of open shell or something? Like, am I just all these things? Like, there's a lot to understand during this awakening, like no matter what level you are. Like, I'm super happy I'm awake, and that was one thing as I'm listening to all these different people talk, where I just have to come back to, like, oh my God, I am so happy that I'm awake when I listen to people and their confusion and the stuff they say. So I'm happy. I know I'm ascending. So whatever is going on with everybody else, I know I'm leveling up. I know that I've done it before, and that why it may be easier for me or something. I don't know. I don't know every single person's challenges, but I know each person has to save themselves. But so while I was out there, putting the food on there, and I was feeling so much like, like back in the olden days, and the people that they knew to work with the earth, like you're giving an offering to the earth to give you something back. And so it isn't just like I'm going out and putting compost on my garden now. And especially I love watching, like, because so many times I'll just stand and watch out the window. Sometimes just to sit there and, love my own place. Like, I'll just sit there and look at it and being like, oh my gosh, I love it so much. I love that tree. I love that little part. I love that. I love that. But I'll get sad, like yesterday when I'm standing there looking about how much I love it and watching the squirrels. And there was a shit ton of birds, so many birds. And I went and I tore up some bread and threw it out too. And the Stella, she's always got to run out. Like, she's got to try and get everything before anybody else. Like, she's such a pig. I was like, Stella, that is not your treats. But, so going out and giving an offering, but then seeing it more on this kind of spiritual level than just like, a scientific, like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do my compost pile or something. Like, there's a different energy behind the different ways of doing something. And so to me, I'm at this place of appreciation for nature and natural, of course, because it's being murdered right in front of us. So Jesus Christ, we don't even know like what's to come. So of course I'm going to appreciate it. And that is the thing, is everybody's got to prove. It just keeps coming to me and coming to me. It's not just like the tea, like these different flashes, like I said, like I keep getting all these weird like things that keep flashing, like somebody's got cards and are just like like that. So I'm just getting these weird things. And so then like yesterday I had this one, and it was all of a sudden Shakey's pizza when I was a kid. And then I ate sausage on the pizza when I was really little, and I liked that spiciness. And I loved Shakey's crust. I loved Shakey's pizza. It was the best pizza to me when I was a kid. And I got that, like, it isn't like you taste it. It's like you feel it. It's like you remember it. It's like I don't know. And then I was like, oh man, that would be so cool. I would really like to go back. I wonder if I could go back to a Shakey's. They did open one in Spokane, and it wasn't the same as when I was a kid, of course. But, like that, being able to go back. See, you have to go all the way back to where it was when it happened. There is no going back to what there was. And that is the problem with so many of us keep happening, is you want to go back to something. You want to go back and re-experience it, to relive it, not realizing that once it's been done, it's over, it's gone. But you want to go back and re-experience it. And I think that is why we have so many people out, like trying to go here and trying to do there, but nothing is going to work because we can't go back. You can't go back to where you were. It is impossible because we've moved out of that. And so, even if I went back and found another Shakey's and went in, it would never have that same thing again. And it wouldn't taste the same. It wouldn't be the same. Like, everything is changing, and it's our energy of how we're able to maneuver, and it's our ability to change with everything that is changing, and everything that we have experienced that is lost is gone. And even if you're trying to recapture a moment or recapture a flavor, recapture an experience, that it's going to not hold the same magnitude. It's always going to be kind of like, oh, that was like, oh, because everything is gone. And we have to get to the point of like appreciating it, like we need to have a ceremony of just letting go of what was there, and the appreciation that we had for the life that we got to experience. Because even if it was that we were being poisoned every day and all of the horrible stuff, we were all living lives, we were all experiencing. And it was only recently where we found out it was all, controlled and manipulated. But before that, like, we got to have a lot of really cool experiences. And so now, though, because we have to witness, we have to awaken, we have to see, because it is a changeover. It's a time to change. And I had just heard this too, where somebody was talking about is every 365 years is a reset, which I don't know, but they said the last one was in the 1600s, which to me goes well with this period of time of what we're experiencing. And he said the reason why everything says like founded in 16 whatever is because that is when it was found again after the reset. So they went back and they found like Tartaria and stuff. So then they changed the dates and the wording and everything. And then I'm not even shitting you, another day of some video going in this deep explanation about how we white people are lab created, that we aren't natural to this place. There was no white. Where did the white come from? It came from somewhere else. So, but it's not like that they went and took us from there and then brought us here. They took DNA from different places. It is the same fucking thing as what people do with dogs, with trying to make this perfect breed or whatever. That's what science does with humans. And so, and the sad thing is with the white is to remove the soul, to remove the connection, to remove everything that is natural to create these little droids. And it's so creepy how many of these people literally want to just go into this like science world. You'd be completely happy to sit here and eat whatever pink goo debris that they tell you is good, put unnatural flavoring and shit like that, and then create your avatar, and then sit in your cubicle. And, they have the whole thing. They're not going to let you move out from... I don't understand how that is a good life for some people. Like, that's what you're looking forward to? I'm looking forward to this all ending and getting me my own little place that is my own safe place, that I have my food, and Stella has her own house and her own pack there. I'm definitely doing that. I've thought about it and thought about it. I'm definitely going to have my own home But I'm going to have Stella her own home, and that's going to be her. The dog house is going to be more like a regular house. I mean, it's not going to have a kitchen and a bathroom, obviously, but it's going to have like a living room with dog beds. I mean, a little fireplace, a little TV or whatever, something that has, because she loves these binaural beats. Every time I put on the alpha waves for your body to repair, she always lays down and goes to sleep. She loves them. So I definitely want to have that kind of thing. But her own little place where she has in charge, I just know, like, she's, I mean, people keep their dogs. If you think your dog's just a dog, it's in a limiting position. To me, Stella is a full-on soul inside of a body with 4 legs and a big mouth with sloppy with slobber. But I love that mouth still. I love her. I think she's just so cute. And I don't care if she's big and stinky and stuff. Like, she's so smart and she's so cute. When she walks, and I don't know if it's her hips, but her little butt, little shaky butt thing that she does. I'm always telling her, your little cute butt, little tiny baby butt. I treat her like she's a little baby, and she appreciates that, but she knows she's a queen. I can tell by her attitude. She thinks I'm her slave. So, anyways, I'm going to give her own house, but I'm going to have a barn and all this stuff. But I have my own, like, Shangri-La in my head that I want to have. But then also to go out and experience, to go out and through life, to go out and go to places and see places and talk to people, and free, and move the way I want to move, travel how I want to travel, so that is, and being able to go out and just freedom, total freedom to go do what I want. And these other people are just, I don't understand it. It's got to be part of that, like, droid mentality that just holds them to just accept whatever. You get a screen. It's like, I don't know. Like, I've seen people talking about, like, right now, this guy, I don't even understand. When he started saying this stuff, because he's like, we're in this guy's like this spiritual guy that I see his videos. I don't go and listen to him all the time. I think I've heard him a couple of them, but this one, he said that we're in this big time of change, of awakening, and everything is changing in our lives because AI is developing and it's becoming, he starts going on this whole thing. Like, that is our big awakening, is we are attached to AI. Okay, I don't even understand. Like, and so then, what's his name? Elon, with his plans to, the Neuralink our brains, so we're all linked together. We're linked together. We don't need your fucking Neuralink. Your Neuralink is gonna go so you can tell me to lift my arm when I don't want to lift my arm. Fuck off with your fucking Neuralink. And then, in this is what really got me outraged. Like, I'm so fucking sick of these fucking people here who just don't give a fuck about anybody but themselves. So the labs that are developing this Neuralink bullshit is doing on monkeys. It's fucking bullshit, man. Damn, it's so fucking bullshit. God, I'm so sick of people doing such mean things. God. Fraudulent animals be eaten in the thing alive. And so this motherfucker is drilled holes in all these monkeys' heads, so it's wide open, and the monkeys have gone, so, like, some monkeys have eaten their own fingers off, and oh man, this is fucked. God, people are so cruel. And that's what they want to do in the motherfucking baby growing lab. Oh God, I'm so disgusted by science. I'm so disgusted by, I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. And I just look forward to the separation, because I don't want to understand it. If there's people who want to go live that way and, don't think it matters, because no matter what, even if we live over and over and over again, When we're here, we still feel pain. We still feel control. We still feel confused. Like, you know, or so many people look at like they're so scared that they're going to die that they'll do anything. And it's like, they've tricked you. You can't stop your death, for one thing. If your death is coming, it's coming. There's nothing you can do about it. And their whole thing to try and make you think you can control it or run from it is absurd. And then they have all these people who think it's true. And so they're all actively, you know, trying to run from death. And it is, I don't know. So, but that one guy who, when he was talking about manifesting, I don't remember his whole video thing. Because I started getting my own information. I just clicked off of his, so I don't really remember what he was saying. But it was something about manifesting. And then he goes, oh, and, you know, people want to manifest their twin flame. Because a lot of girls, like, that's a big thing, you know, where all these girls are like, I want to manifest my twin flame. And so I did a video, and then I was like, because people have got to understand the way they look at manifestation is just, it's, everything is so primitive. It's like first graders trying to explain something to a high schooler or something. It's like, you don't understand it at all. And so one of the things, that part where he's like, if you, and seeing all these people talking about dating and stuff, you don't have to fucking date. There's no reason. The consumerism and all of the thing behind dating, and go out and go to restaurants and buy this and do that, it's all about consumerism. There is no reason to date. Even before, when people were courting, you know, they were trying to get to know somebody, so they would court them. They would go out and sit and walk around a park and talk to them, you know, or go sit somewhere, sit in the parlor and talk to them. You get to know somebody. You don't have to go take them somewhere and pay money. That's consumerism. That is nonsense. And that is part of the dating. Even the development of these apps. Here, make it quick. Just swipe. Find somebody you want to bang real quick. You don't even have to buy them dinner. Just run in and have sex. And it's like that. It gets worse and worse and worse. When none of it has to be. Nobody has to be out looking for anybody that way. How it really works is you put your order out into the universe. So you yourself decide, you know, and I don't think it's just decide. I think it's all on timing. Things happen in your life. Layers of experience happens. And this experience leads to this experience, leads to this experience. Because in my last divorce, when that happened, I was like, oh, I'm done. I'm single now forever. I'm completely done. And, you know, then, you know, I was going through my healing and stuff like that. And then I got my trigger, you know, the date that rings in my ears. And then, so once I got the trigger, and it wasn't even like, you know, it wasn't even like love at first. It was confusion. It was like, you know, I need to talk to this person. Like, I just got to talk to them. Like, it was just this total need to talk to this person. I had no idea why, but it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, I've got to talk to him. I got to talk to him. I got to talk to him. And it was so strange. And then plus, you know, usually I would get up in the morning and that would be gone. I would forget, but no. So I can try to forget this, and I can't forget it. I swear to God, I'd have to get a lobotomy. I still think my soul would be like, no, you're here for this. So, because I can't even tell you, like, all the synchronicity, the stuff that happens, like, to keep me on my path. Like, and that's why when somebody comes in and goes, like, you need to change your stuff. You need to do this. You need to get a reasonable, rational future in your sights and work towards that. And it's like, I'm going to just stick with what my guides are telling me. That's the easy way to me. But so to me, so you put in your order, and it can be anything, you know, it can be, you know, you want true love. You want somebody who's going to be with you, who's going to respect you. You want a travel companion who, you're in alignment with. And you know how important that is if you've ever traveled with somebody you're not in alignment with. It turns a trip into a nightmare. So, just different things. Like, you're always putting your order out into the universe, whether you realize it or not. And it can be, you feel like shit about yourself, so you're ordering the universe to show you, why you need to stop feeling that way. You need to redirect your energy. So with the one about love and manifesting love, or manifesting your twin flame, or your highest soul, your highest level of a soul connection that you can experience at this time, because everything is based. I mean, there could be something even better, like who knows, but in this time experience, there's certain levels. And so when you start putting out what you want, so you want this great relationship, you want this great person, somebody who's respectful to you, to me, as somebody who can dance and is funny, and we all have our own things that are important to us. And so when you are putting those things out there, the universe is always listening. But the thing is what people don't want to acknowledge is when you put that order in, then the universe is going to prepare you for your order. You don't get to just walk in and be like, oh, that's what I ordered, thank you. No, you got to get prepared for the meal. You got to get prepared. You got to clean up. There's a lot that goes to getting what you want. And so it will take you on a journey to self-discovery, to healing, to preparing yourself to be your best self. Because how can your best person come if you're not at your best self? And just because you have reached the point of desire for what you want doesn't mean you're automatically at your best self. There's work to do. And those people will challenge you to find your best self, because that is how it works. So you don't have to go out and date. It's like you put it out into the universe when you're ready, when you feel like you're ready for that. But it's not just like ready for love. You got to be ready for the challenges. And maybe they're going to take you on, you're going to meet somebody at a store, and they're going to walk up and start talking to you, and you're going to think like, oh my gosh, this is the person. I feel this connection right off the bat. And, our eyes sparkle when we see each other. Like there's something there. And you go and you start going out with them, and you think, oh my gosh, this is perfect. I've met the one. This is the person. And then you're going out with them, and then all of a sudden, everything goes south. And then you're like distraught. Like, how could this happen? That was the person. What is wrong? But it was because it wasn't the person. It was the person who was going to teach you what you needed to grow to prepare you for that person. It's the same soul relationships that are always there preparing you. But so you don't ever need to date. The universe brings you what you need all the time. You going on a date is you trying to control your reality, which so many people, like, that is how they've trained people to do. So many people live like that. It's nothing weird or crazy or doing. It is the way that people have been taught. But it isn't the truth, just as everything else is not the truth. You don't have to go out and, weed through all these people, going out with strangers and stuff, trying to find the one. All you got to do is just be in communion with the universe, talking about what it is that you want, what your desires. And then when they start getting you prepared for what it is, you have to go and be taking the test. And, you may go out with somebody and it's a total shit show, total disaster. Well, then when you go and you look at yourself, like, what is it in me? What do I need to change? What am I dissatisfied about me? Because everything is your opportunity to grow for you. It isn't about them. It isn't about you going and fixing them so they're good for the next person. It's so you come across people to help you realize things about yourself. But anyways, that is what manifestation is all about. It is you and the universe working together in this game. But it's so weird because everything is predestined. It's like it was already written. The story was written. Now you're just in the TV version, you know. So it's already done. It's already written. So whatever your desires are, they're coming from the storyline. So the storyline is inside of you. And so your desires come from inside of you. But they trick you into thinking that you have to go towards your desires in another way. But really, it isn't like that. Really, you just stay working on you. The universe brings you the players that are supposed to be in your life. And when you're going out and, trying to force things, then, you're going to see it just keeps blowing up. It doesn't work right or whatever, unless that is your guidance. If your guides are telling you, go do this, we want you to go over there, we want you to swipe right. If that's your communication with them, that they are trying to find you to the person, it's individual, but as a daily practice, to just be there swiping all day long, trying to find the right person and going on all these dating apps and trying to find the right person. Like you got to go out and shop and you got to get to the right store. No, the people who are supposed to be with you will always come around you. They will always come into your life. There's nothing you can do about that, and to me, I had never had an experience like this before, where they started telling me way ahead of time who was going to be entering into my life. But to me, it makes so much sense because, it pushed me into so much personal growth in getting myself into becoming my best version of myself. Everything in the universe is always trying to push you into being your best version of yourself. But, so many people they're just caught up in the mind trap. They're caught up in the trap here. They're not living their life from their soul. They're living their life from their head and trying to participate in this world. And this world is just toxic, and it is lying all the time. And people are just completely tricked. And so anyways, I don't know what she's wanting now. But she's sitting here farting in my face, so go see if I can let her out or something. But anyways, when I was hearing these people, and there's just constantly with this manifesting, like once you become spiritually awake, you just can manifest whatever you want. You just pull in whatever you want. It's not like that. You will pull in what you're supposed to pull in. So if you're poor and you think like you're not a good manifester because you can't make yourself be rich, you're not here to be rich. You're here to be poor because you're here to experience that. And I just had a conversation with my daughter the other day, the day I said that we were talking for hours and stuff. And she was talking about, it was something with people, I don't remember what it was. Oh, I remember what it was. Yeah. So it was talking about the weather situation because the freezing temperatures and stuff. And like right now in Spokane, it's freezing temperatures. Like oh my gosh, the footage I've seen of people showing it's like snow and blizzards and tornadoes. Like, it's crazy. But so we were talking about that, and I was saying whatever about the surviving and stuff, and I was saying about simple stuff. And I started saying some of the stuff, and she goes, yeah, well, I've already gone through winter with no power, like being poor. You go through that stuff, you learn. We drug all our beds out into the living room, and we all slept out there and used each other's like she was saying the different things that they had done. And I said, well, that's the beauty of being poor. See, you get pushed into figuring things out for yourself. And like she said, it makes you more, it does make you more practical. But there was another word, it makes you more, you come up with ways to survive. You come up with things where people who have never gone through that experience, and then comes in cold and they don't know what to do, and they're sitting here freezing to death in their own homes. And so there There's such value in every experience. So, if you're dirt ass poor, don't sit here and think like, well, that sucks. Like, you're learning things that people who have things that you don't have are not learning. And that is the value. Having things on this world and this planet, having things to hold or to guard or to cherish or any of that stuff does not have more value than what you learn from not having anything or losing everything. You learn so much more. And that is what you do take with you. You take the lessons with you. You take your growth with you. That goes with you from life to life to life. It is your expansion. So there is no thing about just manifest, oh, I'm just going to be rich now. And then you just feel like shit because it's not working for you and you've been doing your work. And you don't understand why it's not working. You can't go against destiny. You come in for a certain flight plan. You come in for a certain lesson plan. And you can't change it just because, Joe Blow over there, he's got one that seems a little more interesting. He gets to do this or that. But he's not here to learn the same lessons you're here to learn. You're here to learn your lessons. And so, manifesting is more, like what I've talked about before, it is more of trusting the universe is going to bring you. There's something to the trust, like all the time when I would I would see what I wanted. And this was something that people could not, they kept being like, I don't get how you do this. Because the more I go, I visualize what I want and I see it in my head. I know that I can find it. I don't doubt it. And then I go to the thrift store and there it is sitting right there. And people would be like, I don't get it. How do you do that? Be like, it's just, I don't even think I knew what the word was. Manifesting is a new word to me. Like, I didn't use that word. I may have used it. I know I've used it more recent, but like to me, it was just like, that's just what you do. Like, why don't you do that? But those people who don't do that, they're like, I can't find anything. Oh, there's never anything. That's what you're manifesting. You're manifesting that you can't find anything. You're never finding what you want. It's never there when you want it. That is what you are putting out there. So to me, and about money, like right now where all these people just want to manifest money, it isn't about money. It's about security. Money is a created concept. This whole thing about money is a worldly thing. It doesn't have to do with what you want to be manifesting is security. You can be poor and still have security. So you want to be, manifesting a safe place to live and security and everything that you need, and everything will come to you and everything will come easy. And just like to me, like, half my furniture has just been given to me. Like, and I give stuff away all the time. When you're giving stuff away, stuff will come back to you. It's part of how it works. And I don't understand how people are, when they wake up, how they are just seeing things. So, I don't know. There's just so much distortion in how people understand this world and how they see things, and, I don't know. I've got to definitely, work on not being frustrated, but I got to just see it as, there's definitely some of us who understand things that other people don't understand yet. And, so when you understand about change and transformation, then it makes sense that some of us are here to help people understand the things they don't understand, but we got to get to calmer waters. So everything is going to, that's why everything's got to go topsy-turvy. And so apparently, the money thing, who knows how long they can hang this on. Like, to me, they're sitting there saying I saw a guy yesterday. He's just a regular guy. He goes, I keep hearing this stuff. And so I just want to say, I went to 5 ATMs yesterday. They were all out of cash. When he could finally find one, he said he found one in a small store. When he finally found one, it was a $40 limit. And, so he said they're definitely taking away the cash. So the cash is going to keep going. And is that going to be where all of a sudden everything's going to fall apart and people can't get cash? A lot of people don't notice because we've all become so, a part of this just crypto, just card swiping everything online. So, I have to go get cash. You can't buy anything at the weed store without cash. And that is going to throw a lot of stuff upside down. Like, man, I don't even know. This is going to be something to see play out. But so the money thing, and then like right now, apparently there is American soldiers, like if this is even true, who knows, like I saw some footage because supposedly the soldiers are lost. They can't find their way. Oh my God, the absurdity of this shit. Some, Russian little village or something at the border and they're lost or whatever. So whatever this person was, they're asking directions. This is what the video was. And who knows, like I saw a thing yesterday where it was showing all these videos that the news keeps showing. Then they show where the footage really came from. And they're saying like, oh, this is a bomb going off in the Crane of You, but really it's 2015 of an explosion that happened in Korea or something. Like it's absurd, the shit. But so, but apparently in the storyline that we're in right now, so Putin is mad because we are coming in on him. And so, I don't know, today's Friday. It's like, God damn, how does this keep going? Every Monday, I'm always like feeling so hopeful. And by Friday, it's like, oh my God, another week has gone by. But, shit could go down on the weekends. Maybe they want us to be home and, there's going to be martial law or something. I don't, there's just so much and the possibility. The realm of possibilities is endless. So it is kind of like us having to just wait and see and be prepared. And, it is important. Like these people who are just oblivious are not prepared at all. Like talking to my daughter, it was so strange. And, because she, she believes in climate change and everything. And so she's sitting here telling me, like, when I'm sitting there saying, like, oh, there's 20, I don't remember how many, like 144,000 natural disasters happening all at one time the other day. And, but with the floods, the volcanoes, whatever it was that I had said. And she said, yeah, but that's every year. And then my oldest daughter, when I was there, and she was like, if you're going to keep talking about this stuff, I'm not going to be able to keep talking to you. It just stresses me out too much. All my kids have told me that. So I really try and back off, but I can't stop being who I am. I can't stop seeing what I see, I can't become somebody different so you can be more comfortable. And if you can't talk to me because I keep talking about things that seem scary, it's not scary to me to see the truth. It's more scary to have the truth lurking behind me and I don't have a mirror to see. I'd rather look in the mirror and see what's behind me and know that when I turn around, everything is going to be right side up. So, I am going to keep looking in the mirror and seeing what's behind me. And if that bothers them and they don't want to talk to me, then I'm okay with it. At this point, I'm okay with a lot of things that I didn't think I would ever be okay with in 2015. When I was panicking, when I had heard about the event, I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out. And so now as this stuff I've been watching it play out and stuff, then it is like, I really have come to the thing of like, we really don't go anywhere. It really is just leaving the board game. It's just like, you're in a room giant gymnasium with millions of board games going on, and you go sit at the table of this one. When you get up and you go to the other table to go watch another game or to participate in another game, you don't leave the whole entire world, you just leave the game. And that is what I'm really trying to get into my head about the whole thing, because it is difficult and it is hard because you get caught up in loss, and so many people like, oh, I just wish I would have talked to him more, I wish I would have done this, I sent him a message but I should have called on the phone, like all those things that people need to process. It's all about time and loss, and it's all about what you do with your time. It's going to come up to you like, oh my God, you chose to go out drinking with your friends instead of going and seeing your mom that one last time. You didn't know it was the last time, but that's how it works, because that's the game. And so, anyways, lots of people are going through all of that kind of stuff. So, there's just a lot going on with people having to wake up. It's like, I swear to God, it is so much like what happens when you die and you go through your life review. So much opportunity for growth, but is happening right here, right now, where people is like, because it's the end of this, so you get this opportunity to grow from it. So anyways, it seems like I was skipping around. Like there was something else that I didn't finish saying that I was going to say. Well, I don't know. I can't. I don't know. But, whatever slot, whatever player you're being, if you are poor or whatever, just focus on the lessons you're learning right then. The lessons are always leading you somewhere better. Just because you're poor right now doesn't mean you're going to be poor forever, And like, there's just so much stuff to it, because, you shouldn't, even if you are poor forever, you shouldn't be mad or sad or down about it. Just know, like, I mean, in another life, even if you can't remember it, you probably were super rich. And then you had to come and see the other side. Just don't be down or sad about any role that you're playing, because there's lessons to every single role. And if you're not focusing on the opportunities to learn from the role, then you're just missing out on that whole lesson. And that is where you come back to relearn it, because you're not focused on what was the right thing to focus on. So it is important to learn your stuff. Don't get just caught up in poor me, I'm a victim, nothing goes right for me, everybody in the world's out to get me. That will hold you back. And then you come back, get born into another scenario to see if you can get over that and still learn those things. You just play it all the time from different ways, different possibilities. And so anyways, that is the challenges are the challenges that your soul wants to learn, wants to grow from. So the challenges can seem like some bullshit. You can seem like, oh my God, why has life got to be this way? Why is that got to, all that stuff. But, there's a purpose. Life is full of purpose. It's all about destiny. It's all about, relaxing and knowing your divinity, and knowing that there's nothing that is really going to hurt you. Death doesn't hurt you. Nothing can hurt you. It's an experience. And, to me, it seems so much more just to realize that we're in the same thing, like a video game or a movie, but it's not just a movie, it's an interactive kind of movie. So anyways, just, I don't know. I don't even know. Sometimes I'm sitting here talking and I'm talking like I think I have a specific person in mind or something sometimes when I'm talking. Sometimes I know some of the things I say is it's not me saying them. Like, I know some things I say, but everything is so certain people will hear it. And like, especially when you look at the numbers of how many people hear me, like, it's mental. But you got to think about the the things that I'm saying, if they are triggers, that it's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to trigger you. You know, everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen. So everybody has to, your triggers are there to help you grow, to help you release whatever holds you back. It's the chains of life that will hold you back if you let it, and I'm not letting it. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. I can't think of if there was something else. But I can always come back. I'm not doing anything. So I've sat here. I was yesterday. I made this cutest little hat. I don't know if you can see it. It's so cute. A little beanie hat. I made this little ball thing on the top, and it's kind of like the same colors. I think pretty sure her guy likes the Seahawks. And so I kind of did the colors of that for the little ball thing. It's really, really cute. And then, but this blanket, oh my God, one of my skeins of yarn turned into this like fucking giant tangle. Spent 2 days untangling. I still had to cut a big section out. So I'll get back on top of that. So I'm just going to sit here, do that, look for something to watch. There was something I had watched I wanted to talk about too. Man, the Chippendales thing. Yeah, it really does show. The 80s and 90s was really, bad for humanity. Like, we went dark. We went so selfish. So much bad stuff started happening in that time. And in this Chippendales show, and it just shows, like, man, the way these people just... sex and drugs, and people just didn't care. Even when I was watching this, and it's just like really disgusting. And one thing I had noticed, I can't remember, it was some other thing that I was watching. I mean, it was a really old movie, but it showed like the city lights and the guy coming in, and it kept showing this flash of the city lights, like. And this was like back in the 40s or something. And every time it would show it, it was very much like it was this flashy draw to draw you into like the Sodom and Gomorrah, this toxic place. And then watching Chippendales and stuff. And I was like, oh, it really was. Like when in the one where it showed when it started doing New York. And, the lights in the city and what you find in New York. And plus, if you watch that show Deuce, like, man, there's some seedy shit in New York, man. And it just has moved out. But in California, like, a lot of it moved out. Like, Vegas became so seedy, and that moved, like, it's gone everywhere. But man, and then seeing like the stuff with the California people, and just seeing like, oh my God, they all did really just become so shallow. God damn, they're shallow. And so then and the New York people, they are arrogant, man. They all think that they are like this. They all think they're so cultured, like whatever they want to do, is all go. Is they're so cultured. And then I don't know, that both coasts have some issues, I'll tell you that. But when I was watching, and then they did a documentary. Now this shows, so this documentary came out, and it's just like, oh my God, it's so disgusting how, it is like the total downfall. But this commercial came on for this new movie called Babylon. I'm always clicking out. I don't watch the commercials. As soon as it says skip, I skip. And then this one of the commercials was just, I don't know, maybe she's an actress or something, but just talking about like, oh my God, Babylon is just the best. It's so good. And watching this, so just putting those things together about back in the day, even on one of the documentary, Chippendales started going on all of the circuit of shows, and Phil Donahue was really popular back then. And one of the guests on Phil Donahue, and he apparently was a total progressive. He was anti-religion. And so a girl stands up in the audience and starts talking about, like the sex and all of the perversion, and it's against God, and it's drawing in this whole thing, which goes with those same things with those city lights. You're out there living out there on your farm, and the city lights, that's where the action is. And you get in there to the city, and it's just depravity. And so this girl on the Phil Donahue show was saying that, and she even called him out and said, "Yeah, but you're always against God stuff." And then you get to see a lot of stuff what he says. These are the people who have been out, guiding the ship through our lives right now. This is why we've all been so misdirected. But so, and I loved Phil Donahue back in the day. I thought he was super cool. And then to hear him say, like he definitely is anti-religion or something. I don't know. You can go listen to what he says, make your own opinions. But then with that show with the Babylon coming on, and they keep showing it and keep trying to be like, oh my God, it's so cool, it's so good. And that, it's like, oh my God, it's just even going darker. Now it's just calling it Babylon. They just want to draw us into the dark. And so many people go in. Like the vision that I have, and I don't know, is that like Pinocchio or something? I don't know. But it is kind of like a group of boys going up to, the circus tent and what waits inside, and, how many will go in, how many will sell their soul, how many will go, you know what I mean? And that is life. You got the circus person out there drawing you in. What are you drawn into? As it truly is, you are picking light or dark on this planet all the time. What are you feeding? Are you feeding the light, or are you feeding the dark? Because the dark can feel good, but it will always take you to a place that won't feel good. The dark will always lead you to a place that is going to be dark. It can feel real good getting there, but it's always going to lead to a bad place of feeling bad, corruption, horrible stuff. The light will always lead you to feeling better, but it's very, very difficult to use your discernment and always know which one you're feeding. And that is where they talk about like Satan can trick you and stuff like that. It isn't like Satan, it's not like God is sitting there deciding who lives and dies. And it's not like Satan is sitting there, independently running around to try and trick us all. It's energy. It's the way energy works. And it's the way we work with energy. And so, you have to have awareness. You have to see through things. You have to understand things on a deeper level. You have to open your mind, open your heart to see the truth. And then when you start to see the truth, everything goes into alignment and starts making sense. But you got to stop feeding the dark. You have to really understand and see. And I think you see through compassion and empathy. If you're doing anything that's going to hurt anyone, even if it's not going to hurt them directly, if it's putting out like that kind of energy, then you're feeding the wrong one. You need to spend more time really trying to understand your communication, and probably try and do some stuff to raise your vibration, because you can have a lot of dark energy attached to you that is fucking with you. So anyways, but that's all stuff that everybody has to learn, because nobody can tell you. I can't, sit across the room from somebody and tell somebody what something tastes like to them, or how they interpret, or what they're feeling, or any of that stuff. It all comes from within you. You have to understand that about you. You have to understand how you feel, where your feelings are coming from. Nobody can tell you. Everything is inside of you. And none of us can really know what's inside of somebody else. So anyways, it's all part of the stuff, going on, of this expansion of people trying to, become your best version, and then relax and let things come to you, you know. And that doesn't, and I'm not just saying like, you can just sit there in your house and, everything's just going to come to you. But when doors open and they tell you to go through them, go through them. Go through them. That is what, see what's on the other side, and, trust. So anyways, I'll talk to you later.